This is completely stupid, and if nothing else, might give you all a good laugh too. I, 27-year-old male, am getting married to my fiance, 26-year-old female, later this year. She's an incredible woman, and I'm the luckiest man alive to have her in my life. Unfortunately, she comes attached to a very entitled and self-absorbed family. I genuinely don't know how my fiance ended up as amazing as she is with these people around. The main players in this conflict are my mother-in-law, 53-year-old female, and sister-in-law, 24-year-old female to be. When my fiance and I announced our engagement last year, my sister-in-law had a complete breakdown, throwing a full-on tantrum that she deserved to get married first and my fiance should be forced to wait. I was so confused by this reaction, but my fiance just looked bored, which confused me even more. Apparently, her sister does this a lot when she feels she deserves something more than my fiance. My mother-in-law took my sister-in-law's side, saying that dating wasn't as easy for her. My fiance always tells them off for being annoying and ridiculous, and they hate it, which is kind of funny to me. So here's where I need some help. 3 weeks ago, I got into a nasty car crash and my left leg is broken in multiple places. The doctors say I'll likely have a permanent limp even after I heal because of how bad the injury is, and I might even need a cane. My fiance is an absolute angel and has been by my side every step of the way. I'm going to need a couple of different surgeries and some serious physical therapy before I can properly walk again, and she's been pushing my wheelchair since I got home. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law stopped by yesterday, and that's where the trouble is. My sister-in-law asked my fiance when she would be leaving me, flat out while I was in the room. My mother-in-law also chimed in, saying a wheelchair or cane would look horrible in wedding pictures, so it would be best for her to cancel and leave. I was horrified. I didn't even get to open my mouth before my fiance went absolutely ballistic at her mom and sister. She told them that they were delusional if they believed she was that shallow. She kicked them out almost immediately, saying she was done and over their nonsense. They both looked like they sucked on extra sour lemons. I couldn't help but laugh at their expressions. This was apparently what did it for them, and they both huffed off, still insisting they were just looking out for my fiance. I laughed for a couple solid minutes before calming down. My fiance just looked so exhausted, so we had some cheer-up snuggles. I've been getting messages from my sister-in-law all day saying that me laughing at them, wanting my fiance to not have to spend the rest of her life looking after me, was completely uncalled for, and I'm a jerk. She makes it sound like I'm completely paralyzed, and I'll need 24/7 care until I die. I don't think I did anything wrong, but what do you guys think? Should I have kept my laughter to myself? Am I the idiot? Update. Hey everyone, this thing got a lot more attention than I thought it would, considering how dumb the whole situation is. But I'm actually glad it did, because I've been reading the comments with my fiance, and we're both seeing how fricked up her mom and sister's behavior actually is. She said she hadn't even thought about going no contact since she was just so used to their nonsense. But now we're really talking about pulling the trigger. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law have also officially been uninvited from the wedding, which they did not take well, especially my mother-in-law. My sister-in-law is blocked on my phone now, but she and my mother-in-law still message my fiance. It's a little hard for her to block them completely just yet, but we'll keep working on it. And for those of you who've asked where the father-in-law was during all this, I don't actually know. He divorced my mother-in-law a long time ago and doesn't have contact with her or his daughters anymore. My fiance says she doesn't care or miss him because he was just as bad as my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Lastly, for those asking, yes, I absolutely did spoil my fiance later after they left. I already mentioned Snuggles, but we also got her favorite takeout and binged this new show she's been wanting to check out. It was actually really good. We can't do much bedroom-wise right now, but I promise if I could, I would have. I'm not sure if I'll update again. Maybe if something significant happens. But until then, I have a surgery to prep for in the next 2 weeks. Bye. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Everything is weird. There was a time several hundred years ago when younger sisters could not even come out until older sisters were married. But Elizabeth Bennet dismisses that more than 200 years ago, and fiance's sister is younger, so that does not apply. And if anyone cares, canes and wheelchairs can be hidden in photos by moving them out of frame. Is this even a real question? Comment 2. SIL had a complete breakdown, throwing a full-on tantrum that she deserved to get married first, and my fiancé should be forced to wait, and sister-in-law is the younger sister. Mel took Syl's side, saying that dating wasn't as easy for her. Unsurprising, who wants to date somebody so self-absorbed that she thinks the rest of the world should wait for her? Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking around. So the wedding planning was going as smooth as it could, considering the circumstances. But then, out of nowhere, my fiancé's ex shows up. Yeah, the one she never really talks about because it was a messy breakup. He heard about my accident and decided it was a good time to check in on her. I didn't like it one bit, but she assured me it was nothing to worry about. A few days later, my fiancé comes home from work, and she's different. She's quiet, not her usual self. I ask her what's wrong, and she tells me her ex made a pass at her. Said something about how she shouldn't marry a broken man and that he's still got feelings for her. She turned him down, of course, but it shook her up. It shook me up too. Then my sister-in-law decides to stir the pot. She somehow gets wind of the ex's return and starts spreading rumors that my fiancé is having second thoughts about our wedding. It's like she's got nothing better to do than make our lives miserable. My phone starts blowing up with texts from friends asking if the wedding's off. It's a mess. I'm trying to keep it together, but it's hard. My fiancé is stressed, I'm stressed, and the last thing we need is more drama. But then my surgery gets moved up unexpectedly. It's a good thing, right? I'll be on the road to recovery sooner, but it means we have to push the wedding back. My fiancé is understanding, but I can see the disappointment in her eyes. The night before my surgery, my fiancé's mom shows up at our door unannounced. She's crying, saying she's sorry for everything and that she wants to be there for us. My fiancé is torn. She's missed her mom despite everything. I'm wary, but I don't want to be the bad guy, so I say it's okay if she stays for a bit. Surgery day comes and it's a success. I'm groggy from the anesthesia, but I hear my mother-in-law whispering to my fiancé. She's saying how she's realized how much she loves her and doesn't want to lose her. She's laying it on thick. My fiancé is eating it up, and I don't blame her. Everyone wants their mom's love. But then a week later, I find out my mother-in-law has been talking to my fiancé's ex behind our backs. She's been trying to convince my fiancé to leave me and go back to him. Says it's for her own good. I'm furious. I confront my fiancé about it, and she's just as shocked as I am. She confronts her mom, and there's a huge fight. My mother-in-law leaves, and we're back to square one. Now I'm sitting here, legs still healing, wondering if I made the wrong choice letting her back into our lives, even for a moment. My fiancé is heartbroken, and I can't help but feel responsible. We're trying to pick up the pieces, but it's hard. I just hope we can get through this together. Thanks for reading. My brother and his partner moved in and expected me to be their free nanny. So I kicked them out and made them apologize for accusing my daughter of theft. My brother Ellis recently got a job in my city that required an immediate start. He didn't have the time or money to find a place on such notice, and his partner Taylor just had a baby 7 months ago, so he didn't want to leave her alone. So he asked if they could stay at my place for a couple of months to get situated. Ellis is a responsible guy who doesn't take advantage of people, so I felt okay saying yes. Ellis, Taylor, their 7-month-old baby, and Taylor's daughter all moved in. Before they came, I made it clear that I would not tolerate them doing any sleep training or cry it out stuff with the baby. If the baby cries, you need to make an immediate and reasonable effort to soothe him. The other rule was that Taylor was responsible for any damage her daughter did in the house. You would think this would be obvious, but we've had previous incidents. The final rule was that neither my husband nor I would be doing any childcare. I am a stay-at-home mom to my own daughter, as well as having a side business, and my husband works very hard. Just because we are home does not mean we are available to provide childcare. I thought it went without saying that they would be responsible for themselves in all other ways. They accepted all the conditions and moved in. It took 2 weeks to go to shoot. There were times I'd have to get up in the night to wake Taylor and Ellis to get the baby. Taylor's daughter has also not adjusted well to the move and is constantly playing sick to avoid going to school. Then, because she's not really sick, she spends the day causing havoc. Taylor has been bugging me to help her with the kids, despite agreeing she wouldn't. She's also been expecting that she and her kids would be cooked and cleaned for. So it was 2 weeks until I was getting annoyed, and a further 2 weeks until I was on the edge. What tipped it over was earlier this week when I was picking my daughter up early from school and going out. and Taylor asked me to take her daughter with me. She said she was drowning in things to do, and the baby was fussing, and she needed a break. I said no. Taylor swore at me, and I just left. When we got back a few hours later, the first thing I hear is the baby crying. I go into the nursery. No Taylor. Her daughter is sitting on the couch watching TV and crying. No Taylor. My kitchen is a mess. No Taylor. I frantically searched the whole house only to find Taylor locked in a closet. She said she couldn't take it and needed a break. I called Ellis and told him to get his butt home. I sat them down and said they had to go. I said I would chip in for a hotel, but I can't do this anymore. Ellis thinks I'm being an going back on the deal, but he and Taylor haven't held up their end. I do feel bad because I don't want to stress Ellis out with his new job, but I am going crazy. I hate being in my own home. Am I the idiot for putting my foot down? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. No idiots here. OP set expectations and they agreed. It does sound like they were hoping for some wiggle room though and set themselves up for failure. Considering they are family, I probably look into ways of helping them without kicking them out or helping more directly myself, childcare cleaner, and most of all, get Taylor checked for PPD. Not OP's job, but as a sister still myself, I'd probably suck it up for my brother/niece/nephew. The niece doesn't get to play sick anymore. She has to go to school, and if she doesn't get better by lunch, you pick her up. But she needs to go every day and at least try. Ellis and Taylor should also talk to the school about ways to make it easier on her. The baby isn't OP's responsibility, but Taylor and Ellis obviously can't meet his needs right now. They need to find a way to improve. Kicking them out makes me worried for the baby. It puts more pressure on finding permanent housing, while Taylor obviously already struggles. I truly get where OP is coming from, but personally, I would try to find a middle ground. Comment 2. I could be the ASH because by kicking them out, I'm going back on the original deal. Not the idiot. They didn't follow the deal past the first 2 weeks, disrupting your family and your home. Taylor obviously needs help, but that's not your responsibility, and you made it clear prior to them moving in. Don't feel a twinge of guilt. You are going above and beyond by chipping in for a hotel. They need to get an extended stay motel, he is employed, and get on the stick about looking for a place of their own. Now, for the update. Thanks for all the comments on my last post. They really helped me sort out my thoughts. So after I told Ellis and Taylor they had to leave, things got even worse. Ellis was mad, saying I was kicking them out with nowhere to go. But I was at my limit. I couldn't take another day of their chaos in my house. I felt bad for the baby and Taylor's daughter, but I had my own family to think about. The next day, Ellis went to work, and Taylor was supposed to pack their stuff. Instead, she spent the whole day on the phone, ignoring the kids and not packing a single thing. I couldn't believe it. I ended up packing most of their stuff myself just to get it done. But here's where it gets crazy. When Ellis came home, he found Taylor crying. She told him she lost her wedding ring. They turned the house upside down looking for it, and guess what? They found it in my daughter's room. Taylor immediately accused my daughter of stealing it. I knew that wasn't true. My daughter wouldn't do that. But Taylor wouldn't listen and kept blaming her. I was furious. I told them they had to leave right then and there. I didn't care where they went, but they couldn't stay in my house and accuse my family of stealing. Ellis tried to calm things down, but I was done. They ended up leaving that night. The next day, I found out from a neighbor that Taylor's daughter had been bragging about how she found a pretty ring and hid it to cause trouble. I was so angry. All this drama because of a lie. I called Ellis and told him what happened. He was silent for a long time. Then he apologized. He said he should have known better and that he was sorry for not trusting my daughter. Ellis and Taylor found a small apartment to rent. It's not much, but it's a start. Ellis has been coming by to see my daughter and apologize in person. He's trying to make things right. I can tell he's embarrassed by everything that happened. I've been talking to my husband about it, and we both agree that we did the right thing. It was tough, but we had to stand up for our family. I hope Ellis and Taylor can sort out their issues, but I'm just relieved it's not in my house anymore. Thanks for reading. My sister stole the names I picked for my babies after years of fertility struggles. So I leaked her secret diary to the entire family and watched as her perfect image shattered. I'm 38-year-old female, pregnant with my first and probably only child. My sister, 36-year-old female, is also pregnant, but this is her third child, and this baby comes several years after her last child, who is 8 years old. I struggled with fertility problems for many years. I could not get pregnant despite trying from the age of 24. We underwent numerous tests, but no clear reason for this was ever found. We tried taking breaks between trying. We tried fertility medications in recent years, and finally last year we went through in vitro fertilization, IVF, which was successful for us. You might wonder what this has to do with the name of my baby. Well, let me explain. My husband and I had a boy and a girl name chosen from pretty much the time we started trying for a baby. These were names we promised to use whenever we had a baby, and we had planned to have at least 2 children. Those names stayed the names throughout everything. But when my sister was pregnant with her first child, she and her husband struggled to agree on a name. She mentioned mine and my husband's chosen names once during my pregnancy and said how lucky we were to have agreed. Then when her daughter was born, she decided to use the girl name my husband and I had chosen. And she confessed that is how the name was decided on. She said her husband liked our chosen name and she didn't think it was bad, so she decided it would be better for them to use it so their baby could have a name. She told me not to look upset because admittedly, I got emotional when she said this and told me at least the name would be used. Then when her son was born, she used the name we had chosen for the same reason. They couldn't agree on another name. This did strain our relationship, and I was and still am hurt that she was so dismissive of my feelings and so blunt about what they did. She implied pretty strongly that she expected I would never have children to use the name for. Then a couple of years after her son was born, she made the comment that we agreed so easily we could find another name if it worked, implying that we should not use the names anymore. We ended up mixing our boy choice and our girl choice for this baby. Both had a unisex name in them, and we decided since we loved all 4 names, mixing them wasn't a huge change. My sister won't like this. But honestly, we don't see each other much anymore. She only reached out more now because we're both pregnant at the same time, and she has asked repeatedly about the name we have chosen. I have refused to tell her, but my 2 brothers know. They thought I should have used the original name as intended and give our sister the middle finger. But they also understand why we chose to mix them. She sent me a very angry text a few nights ago saying, "I'm being so petty, and these babies should grow up close together, and we should be working on our relationship, and instead I am excluding her and making a point of saying I don't want her to know anything." Am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, not the idiot. She stole your baby names before and will do it again. Also, her comments about you being childless are straight up disgusting. I wouldn't even talk to her anymore. Baby names are personal and private. My siblings never shared their baby names ever, and nobody was ever mad. It's about respecting privacy. Only my brother shared it once, with instant regret, because of stupid comments from his mother-in-law. Comment 2, not the idiot. Don't let her know. Your sister is the jerk. I recently learned that my sister-in-law used the girl name my sister had for her baby girl. They were both pregnant at the same time, and one was born 2 months before the other. She said something along the lines of, "Oops, sorry." Now for the update, thanks for keeping up with my story. So things have been pretty rough lately. Remember how I mentioned my sister was all mad about the baby names? Well, it got worse. She actually went behind my back and told my entire family the name we chose for our baby. I don't even know how she found out, but there she was, spreading it around like it was her business to tell. And then, as if that wasn't enough, she threw a huge family dinner and invited everyone except us. I heard about it from my cousin who thought we were just out of town or something. It was like she was trying to cut us out of the family, make everyone side with her. It's like she's got this need to be the center of attention. And now that we're both pregnant, she can't stand that I might be getting a bit of the spotlight. But wait, it gets better. At this dinner, she announces that she's naming her baby the exact mix of names we chose for ours. Can you believe that? After everything, she just takes it a step further. It's like she's got this vendetta against me, and I can't for the life of me figure out why. I mean, I get that she's my sister and all, but this is just too much. Everyone's been calling, asking if we're going to change our baby's name now. Like it's some kind of competition and she's won because she's having her baby first. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to lie, it's tempting to just give in and find a new name to avoid all this drama, but why should I? This is our baby, our choice. And then, as if I needed more on my plate, my husband's job is now on the line. His company is going through layoffs, and we're just sitting here on pins and needles, waiting to see if we're going to be okay or if we're about to lose our main source of income. It's like everything's falling apart at once. But through all of this, my sister acts like she's the victim, like we're the ones being unreasonable. She's got this way of twisting things, making it seem like she's the one being wronged. And the worst part? My parents are buying it. They keep telling me to make peace, to be the bigger person. It's like they don't even see what she's doing to us. I'm just so tired of it all. I want to be excited about my baby, about becoming a mom, but it's like she's sucking all the joy out of it. And I can't even talk to my family about it because they're all on her side. It's like I'm living in some soap opera and I can't find the off switch. Anyway, thanks for reading. It helps to vent a bit. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.